I'm Melanie B and I'm a Northern nutter.
Mel B, the straight-talking northerner who became one of the biggest pop stars on the planet.
She's authentic and she's real, and she's hard work.
You look like a pop star.
Thank you.
You don't sound like one.
That was a bit harsh.
She'd say things that people were thinking but would never say.
She is really scary.
As Scary Spice, she hit the heights of showbiz.
They became a worldwide, massive mega act.
Spice Mania was phenomenal.
And her turbulent personal life has also hit the headlines.
She's made a lot of mistakes with men.
Melanie baffles me when it comes to relationships. She's often made really shit choices.
Melanie was born in 1975 in Leeds to mum Andrea and dad Martin, who was from the Caribbean island of Nevis.
I'm sat with this baby on my knee, and Martin's family were saying she's never going to fit in. You've had this baby and it's not black and it's not white. I thought, how can they say that? She's so gorgeous.
We grew up with a black side of our family and a white side of our family. It was normal to us to call black grandma and white grandma.
Our parents lived on the same street. We was the only two that had, like, the white mother and the black father.
When Mel was growing up, racism was rife.
Every few weeks there would be a National Front march. We were terrified of, like, going into town. There was a club, and there was a point where they wouldn't let no black people in that club.
Mel's dad was determined his children would be successful.
My dad was very, like, all about education. He was the only parent in mine and Melanie's school that used to get a printout of our attendance. I think my dad wanted us both to be doctors.
But young Melanie had other ambitions.
Melanie loved dancing. It took over all our lives, really.
She put all her heart into it. You could depend on her to always give a good performance.
In 1994, Mel spotted a newspaper ad for a new girl band and went along to the audition. She got the gig, and with Mel C, Jerry, Emma and Victoria, the Spice Girls were born, with the group living and working together 24/7.
Well, we eat, sleep and drink it, really. We all live together.
She had a double bed and I had a little single at the side of it.
The hard work paid off, and in 1996, the Spice Girls had their first #1 hit with Wannabe.
They just captured the public's imagination, and every young kid wanted to be a Spice Girl.
The band sold 85 million records worldwide and became the biggest female group of all time.
It was like Beatlemania. These girls had something to say.
This is about girl power, so come on!
They weren't listening to a record company or to management or to anybody.
I want to ask you a question. Can we come to dinner, please?
I wish my mom still had the same style in the 90s, because she looked so cool.
What do you think of the Spice Girls? Watch it, she stood next to me.
Please, you know, these are my heroines.
Mel B was definitely a role model for young Afro-Caribbean girls. There weren't many around in the music business.
She was just so unapologetically herself. Growing up, I hated my hair. I hated my curls. And I would always straighten it on the ironing board. To see someone like that in her position, celebrating her natural hair. Yeah, Mel B can rock her curls, then I'm gonna rock mine.
She's brave. I really look up to her and I'm really proud.
From an early age, Mel stood up from the crowd.
Clothes-wise, she was very daring. She'd always wear something completely different to all her friends.
She'd come down the stairs in the tiniest little shorts, literally what we call batty riders, like little bra top. She looked drop-dead gorgeous. But then it spent my whole evening then fighting off the Pied Piper of men behind us while we're walking down the street.
Attracting men was never a problem for Mel. Finding the right man was another matter.
Melanie falls in love far too quickly. I think most girls do that, and then they sort of pull back. But with Melanie, she sort of just keeps going.
She's that desperate sometimes to feel loved. It just goes wrong, you know. I just wish I could choose the men for her, maybe.
On the Spice Girls World Tour in 1998, Mel began a relationship with her backing dancer, Jimmy Gulzar. Jimmy joined Mel in the video for her first project outside the Spice Girls, a collaboration with Missy Elliott, which went straight to #1.
He had a great body. He ticked all the boxes she wanted as a man in her life.
They seemed to be madly in love, but I just thought it were all too quick.
After dating for just 2 months, Jimmy proposed, and the couple married in September of that year.
I did actually ask him, do you love Melanie? He just looked at me shocked that I'd actually asked him.
Just 5 months later, Mel gave birth to the first Spice child, Phoenix Chi.
I'm sure that Victoria was due before Melanie, but in true Melanie style, she got in there first.
The cracks in the relationship were beginning to show.
There was a huge difference between their personalities.
After less than 2 years of marriage, Mel divorced Jimmy and moved to Los Angeles, where in 2006 she met comedian Eddie Murphy. It was love at first sight.
Just thought, Eddie Murphy? The Eddie Murphy? Like, and she went, yeah, I'm seeing it. I said, what's his house like?
It wasn't long before Mel introduced Eddie to her daughter, Phoenix.
I thought Eddie was cool. I mean, he was Shrek. In Shrek, he was Donkey. So, like, every kid loves Donkey. I don't know, I thought he was cool. He was a cool guy, he was funny.
And I think she really, really did like Eddie. I think she would say it was like a bit of the love of her life, really, if I'm honest.
Mel was soon pregnant again, but following an argument about their living arrangements, she got on a plane to Leeds to have some space.
Just had a disagreement or whatever. And instead of just going home for a night, she came to England to her mum's, and he was ringing her mum, he was ringing everyone, he was trying to get hold of her.
Eddie found my number and he rang me really late in the night. And he did say to me, I adored Melanie. He was madly in love with her. He said, do anything.
I don't understand why it went so wrong, to be honest. I think it just blew up out of nowhere, but it was a horrible time.
Mel went back to LA to reunite with Eddie. But when she arrived, she discovered he dropped a bombshell during a press interview.
So are you happy with her because she's pregnant from your child, right?
But now you're being presumptuous. First, we're not together anymore, and we don't know whose child that is till it comes out and has a blood test. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, sir.
When Mel arrived back at Los Angeles airport, 5 months pregnant, she was greeted by the world's press.
I think Eddie was angry with Melanie because she rejected him.
In April 2007, Mel gave birth to a daughter, Angel. A paternity test followed.
We are asking the court to legally establish Eddie Murphy as the father of Melanie and Eddie's baby.
I'm not quite sure why she ends up left heartbroken. As much as, yeah, she's strong and she's got the fame and she's got the success, she also just wants a normal relationship, and it's really hard for her to find that.
Just after the birth of Mel's second daughter, Angel, a new man came on the scene. Film producer Stefan Belafonte.
Angel was only about 3 weeks old, and I was worried about Melanie. She was so vulnerable.
He kind of swooped in and wanted to just, like, take over.
I think from very early on, we had concerns about him. I don't ever really meet anybody that met him and initially thought, what a great guy.
After just months together, Stefan and Mel married in Vegas, followed by a family wedding in Egypt.
I was just happy that my mom was there with her family and she was getting married in a beautiful place.
But shortly after they returned, Mel cut off contact with her family.
Melanie came on the phone and I was like, what is going on? She said, please don't call me again. I was like, Melanie? Because it was like this voice and this person don't recognise and I've never heard her speak like that.
Completely cut off. It was horrific for them to be ripped from your lives.
Mel's family wouldn't see her or her children for 6 years.
It sucked because I lost, like, my family.
On the face of it, Mel's career and marriage were going well. She and Stefan even had a reality series, which demonstrated their much talked about volatile relationship.
Oh, you're boring. You know what? I was just playing with you anyway. I'm gonna go hang out by myself.
You're a big, needy, bald baby.
Then in 2014, Mel landed a role as a judge on X Factor, and she and Stefan, now with a child of their own, Madison, moved back to Britain. But although the couple were putting on a united front in public, Problems in their relationship were taking their toll on Mel.
She drank. She took cocaine.
I knew my mom was sad and was hurting inside, but she's good at hiding it, so I guess not many people knew.
Mel was worried that sex tapes she and Stefan had filmed would be made public. On Thursday, 11th of December 2014, Mel reached rock bottom.
I got a call from Mel's driver to say, we're going to hospital. And obviously I knew immediately something was up. It was just awful when I arrived because it was apparent that she'd obviously tried to take her own life and she was in intensive care.
Mel had taken an overdose, hundreds of aspirin tablets. It wasn't long before the press got hold of the story. Mel's mum, who hadn't seen her in 6 years, tried to contact her.
I heard in the press that Melanie were in hospital. I was traumatised.
Mum and Dad was just screaming the house down.
Mel was due to appear on The X Factor the following day, but was replaced at the last minute by Talisa Kontostavlos.
I remember thinking, where's Mel?
There had to be something seriously wrong.
None of us really knew what was going on, but we knew that whatever it wasn't good.
Sunday was the live results show.
All the doctors were advising that she didn't leave the hospital, but she was absolutely adamant that she was going to do the show.
At the last minute, she discharged herself and headed for Wembley Arena.
This is the X Factor final, the results.
She emerges in the white ethereal dress with no wedding ring.
I didn't ask her what was wrong because I kind of knew. I didn't want to ask her. I just said, great to see you.
Mel's family were all watching at home.
She was on there, she was completely broken. I could see her face, she looked in pain. It was heartbreaking to see that. She held her hands up, like as if to say, this is it is over.
She hadn't got a ring on, that was a statement to him.
Mel B is back, everyone!
We was, as a family, all really like, she's finally done it, she's left him, we're all going to be together.
You know, I really miss being here.
I had hope. That was my hope. I thought, here we go, she's going to come back. This is it. We're going to be friends again. Everything's going to be normal. Everything's going to be back to normal.
In 2017, Mel had been cut off from her family for almost a decade. She was appearing in Chicago on Broadway, and they called her with the news that her dad was dying of cancer.
We contacted Melanie. I said, you need to come and see your dad.
So she turned up with Phoenix, which it was really, really emotional.
I just came from, school and straight to taking care of my mum with her dad dying and me losing a grandpa and seeing our whole family again. It was hard.
Phoenix, I remember as a 8-9-year-old little girl, to see this tall 19-year-old, like a huge shock, and then see Melanie as well.
She only just made it. It was like he hung on to say that, which were, it was just heartbreaking.
We just hugged and cried it out, and, it was a sad time anyway, and a sad time for her as well. But yeah, we just hugged it out.
And then as soon as he saw Melanie, he lifted his head, and those were his last words, and he just said, I love you. He actually hung on for about 5 days. And, Melanie even got into bed with him and Danielle, all cuddled.
We just really came together, and yeah, he died the morning, like the day after.
Reunited with her family, in December 2017, Mel divorced Stefan.
She's really ashamed of everything that happened and everything she allowed to happen.
Nobody knows what Melanie was after the divorce. It was really, really bad. She could cry, she could dance, forget about it, and then boom, the pain comes back in her head.
That makes it even more courageous doing what she did, but I think it's been really cathartic.
She began work on a new autobiography, documenting her marriage.
I think it makes a huge difference when there's somebody as universally famous as Mel talking about this issue. It's incredibly brave.
After publishing her book, Mel found a new calling as an ambassador for victims of domestic violence.
My mom's a patron of Women's Aid, which helps a lot of women with abusive relationships.
She went to a hostel in Leeds and she sat on the floor, spoke to these women in a group, and she told them her story.
Everybody really bonded with her, and it meant so much that she'd come into the refuge.
Her stories and her speaking out about them has been very inspiring to other women.
In November 2018, the Spice Girls announced they would be going on tour.
The world's most successful girl group is reuniting.
The Spice Girls are here! Which Spice Girl needs the money the most?
Me, because I'm divorced! We eventually came to a point where 4 of us at least were like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's just do it. We're not getting any younger.
Are you going to be recording anything new?
Yes, we're recording an album.
Right.
We're going to the studio next week.
She's fibbing. She just loves performing. That's why I'm so excited about the tour. That's where she's most comfortable.
Let's see if Mel B behaves herself.
Right. To have the girls back together again, doing what they do best. It's going to be fantastic.
There's a special connection, there's a special relationship with the British public.
You know, all these loyal fans, they're still there. To see them together, it's going to be fantastic.
She's got it all. She's just got to learn to find a way to make it work for her.
For somebody that famous, the highs are unusually high, and then the lows are going to be lower.
I'm not proud because she's famous. I'm proud because of what she's done, where she's been, what she's been through, the ups, the downs, the lows, the highs, the full shebang.